We're bringing winter inside with this tutorial. I'm going to show you how to add falling snow to any image, including how to make your very own snow brush. But if you don't want to do any of the work, I've got you covered. I'm giving away my own snow brush for free. All right, let's make a blizzard. We're going to start by making an adjustment fill layer. We're going to click right here and go up and select solid color. We want to make sure it's 100% white. And then we're going to be painting with black. We want to select the brush tool, and we want, just under general brushes, we want the soft round brush. I'm going to be using about 50% opacity. And then let's just make this smaller. I've made a new layer on top of this, and then let's just paint something that looks a little bit like a moving snowflake. So I'm doing a bigger circle for the base, and then I'm making the brush smaller and painting just the tip of the snowflake. And then I also want some variation. So I'm doing some smaller snowflakes and just messing around with this. The more that you make, the more condensed the snow will be. It will look a bit more like blizzard conditions. If you want fewer snowflakes and a lighter snowfall, just make less. All right, so something like this. I'm going to make this one a bit bigger. All right, now we want to make a selection of what we just painted. I'm going to be using the rectangular marquee tool, and let's just make a square box around our snow. And then we're going to go to Edit and down to Define Brush Preset. And then let's name it, I'm just going to name it Snow. And then let's deselect this layer. I'm just going to group these and Command or Control G and turn this group off. And then let me show you what this brush looks like. As you can see, this isn't what we want just yet. Let's bring up this opacity. Nope, it's not quite there yet. There's one more thing we have to do. We're going to go to Window and then Brush Settings. All right, let's first play around with the spacing. I think I'm going to set this to 5. And we can go back and forth until we get what we want. Size jitter, we're going to move up. Angle jitter around here. Roundness jitter. And I'm going to be coming back to this. Now let's turn on scattering. We want to scatter on both axes. Let's move this up. Again, this is up to your preference. I think I'm gonna go right here. And then my count, I'm going to keep on 1, but if you want this to look more like a blizzard, then just move it up. You can make this really intense, but again, I'm keeping it at 1. I'm gonna go back to shape dynamics. All right, let me go around here. Angle jitter, and then roundness jitter. All right, let me mess with spacing again. All right, let's see what this looks like, and we can always further adjust this. All right, let me increase the size. Yeah, I think that looks good. If you want to, further work on this, then you can just bring back up the brush settings and then, keep playing around until you get what you want. Okay. Scattering, shape dynamics. Okay. I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to show you how to paint this on. I always start with a bigger brush and then I change the size because snow varies and I want this to look realistic. Okay, let's paint this on, and then I'm going to decrease the brush size, paint a bit more on here. Okay. I am going to be painting this off myself, but this needs a little bit of work. How do we make this look even more realistic? We're going to go up to Filter, Blur, Motion Blur. Now, this tool is very, very cool. You can change the angle that you want the snow coming from. You can go horizontal this way, or diagonal this way, excuse me. This way, up and down, left to right. I want the snow coming from the same direction as my light source, so I'm going to go this way at about, I'm going to stay around 50 degrees. And then we can also change the intensity of the distance as well. So if you want this to look really intense, at this point, if you're going all the way up, it looks a bit more like rain. But again, just play around with this, figure out what you like best. Okay, I'm gonna go around 93 pixels. All right, I'm going to make one more layer, and this time I'm just going to paint on some smaller snowflakes. And we're going to go right around the branches. I want this most concentrated around the branches. If you want to paint this on very heavily, just hold down and it'll go like this. But that's a bit too much for me. But if you want to paint a blizzard, that's how you should be applying it. All right. You can add motion blur to this as well, but I'm actually going to keep it as it is and just end up lowering the opacity. Now I want to paint some of this off of myself. So I'm going to add a layer mask. We're going to click this right here. We want to be painting with black, and then let's go back to that soft round brush that we were using before. At about 60% opacity, let's just paint this off where we don't want it. Turn that one off for now. So paint this off here, and then I'm going to lower the opacity even more and just make this a little less intense. Okay, now let's do the same with this layer. Again, we're going to add a layer mask. We're going to be painting with black, and I'm going to paint this off of myself. Bring the opacity back up to 60, 65, and let me just paint this off. Okay, now let's group both of these layers together. Select both layers, Command or Control G, and I'm just going to lower this opacity. I'm going to go around 75. And here we go, before and after, before and after. Thank you so much for watching. My snow brush is linked down below. It's completely free. Please give me a subscribe if you found this helpful, and stay tuned for the full editing tutorial of this image.